Well, welcome to Without a Trace, Gone Boy Gone, the Breakout EDU edition, proudly brought to you by Wake Up Sunshine. Okay, to begin the Gone Boy Gone Breakout EDU session, the first thing that I would do is make sure that your students have an understanding of the story's background, and that's included in the guide, and I would at least read this to them one time before you actually start the clock on the breakout experience. From here, it's probably a good idea that your students can see what their goal is, and the goal, as you can see before you start the clock, is what the mystery is. And the mystery is the death of Brian Goodwin was caused by, and then they got various suspects to think about: wild animal, Delilah, Ned Goodwin, his dad, or simply an accident. Then usually I start the clock by clicking the bottom right corner there, and the kids are off and running. The first thing that they'll get from their teacher is hint card 1, and as you can see here, hint card 1 shows that the key is in the setting of a specific encyclopedia. So you can hide this in a library, your media center, or your own classroom, but the teacher needs to make sure that beforehand they hide the key to get into the first lock in an encyclopedia. So that would be what I do, is I hide in my room a W encyclopedia, and when they open up, the main setting of the story is Wyoming. So if they go to that encyclopedia and open up the envelope, there'll be a key for them to unlock the first lock that they'll need to continue on in the mystery. All right, once the students have found the key in the W encyclopedia for the main setting, which is Wyoming, they should be able to infer that there's only one key lock that is going to be needed in the room, and I'll have this little box somewhere, and the students will obviously hopefully figure out they need to take the key to unlock the lock, and hopefully they'll realize that the stuff inside here is going to be important for the mystery. So bear with me, I'm trying to do this by myself, but it should unlock it. There we go. There. Unlock that lock, and when they open up the small box, they will have a couple items in here. So we shall open, and they have a computer mouse, and they have some sort of flashlight that they'll see in there. So obviously they're going to need both of these things at some point. So you got the UV flashlight and you got a computer mouse. So if they don't figure it out already, you can go ahead and prompt your students, if you're utilizing the same idea as I do, that they need to plug this into the teacher's desktop computer, because obviously they're going to need to use the computer at some point for this mystery. All right. It goes without saying that the main objective for the students in this breakout session, just like any other ones, is to get into the big breakout EDU box, and however many locks that you have on there obviously all need to be figured out in some way or capacity. So the students have already gotten into the little box there to get the computer mouse that should already be plugged in, and a UV flashlight that probably will be utilized later on. Once they've gotten that open and they've plugged in the mouse to their teacher's computer, most likely a desktop, the students are going to get hint card 2, and hint card 2 says beginnings offer an invention date to open the 4-digit lock. So we have a 4-digit lock over here, and beginnings offer an invention date. So what you're going to do then is prompt the students to go and look at my Firewatch playlist, and you'll notice that it is on your phase 1 materials right here, and it's hyperlinked. So you're kind of telling your students they need to go here, but then kind of leave them on their own and to look through the playlist titles. And if they look through them, they should come up with one that says The Beginning. And if they watch The Beginning, then they should be listening for a clue that will answer the 4-digit lock, riddle, mystery, whatever you want to call it. So it says beginnings offer an invention date. So if they listen through the clip, when Henry, our main character, is talking to Delilah, they talk about this fire table.
Okay, yeah, I see it. This is the Osborne Firefinder, invented in 1914 by W.B.
So you heard that this fire table was invented in 1914. Therefore, it should, hopefully the students will infer that they need to, the COM for the 4-digit lock is 1914, and then there'll be another lock off their list into the big box. Well, after unlocking the 4-digit lock on the big Breakout EDU box, the students then receive hint card 3. And hint card 3 says, pictures and knots, note the missing one. And you can let the students think for a bit, but if they look lost and they don't remember past activities, you can refer them back to the Firewatch playlist that I have that I've included in the guide, but they might figure it out on their own because they had to use it the last time. So when they are to the Firewatch playlist, they're going to need to scroll through and see if anything stands out to them. And if they look closely, one of the titles is called Camera and Ropes. And since pictures and knots kind of correlates with that, they should figure out or infer that they need to watch this clip. And it says that somewhere in here will be the answer to who the missing one is. So if they watch this clip, Cameras and Ropes, and they listen carefully.
Oh, I think. Oh, get this. This pack came with one of those cardboard single-use cameras.
With pictures left?
Yeah, he only used 3 or 4.
Neato.
Thank you, Brian Goodwin.
Wait, who?
The bag had the name Brian Goodwin sewn into the top.
Huh. Wow.
Do you know him?
Yeah, I just haven't heard that name in a few years.
He was a lookout?
Yeah, kinda, I guess. He was stationed in Two Forks, your lookout, with his dad Ned 3 summers ago. Great kid.
You can bring children out here?
No. You know, I'm not a stickler for rules. They took off halfway through the summer.
So from the video, then the students hopefully can infer that there's a letter lock on the Breakout EDU box, and the main character, his first name is Brian, so to solve this one, they should set in the word Brian, and that one then will allow that lock to be taken off, and are allowed to continue moving on and solving the last lock to be able to get into the Breakout EDU box. Well, after unlocking the letter lock, the students are given hint card 4, but it's going to be kind of cryptically blank, but I hope the students can think back to something they found much earlier in the small box here. They had a computer mouse, but they also had a flashlight, which is a UV light. If they don't pick up on this, certainly the teacher can kind of prompt them, but hopefully they'll figure out that they need this light for something. So if they turn on the light, whether by figuring it out or by you, the teacher, prompting them, they're going to see a clue that the teacher should have written prior, which is the cave unlocks Brian's location. Now, when they see that clue, I want them to think about, if they haven't already noticed, they only have one lock left on the large EDU lockbox, and that's the 3-digit lock. So they should start thinking that they need to be looking for something, some type of 3-number code or something to unlock that thing. And if you need to, you can prompt them to go back to the Firewatch playlist guide of mine, or they might figure it out on their own since they've been doing this long enough that they see that obviously the videos are of importance in this process. Well, through looking through all the titles, hopefully through discussion they can figure out that they need to look at the one that's called Finding Brian, because that's who they're looking for. And when they go to that one, as they watch the clip, they are brought to a cave. And in that cave, there's going to be a gate. And the students should be hopefully watching closely, because look on the cave, it's cave 452. So they may recognize that. You may have to give them some clues at the end after they watch the clip, but 452 then will open the last lock. allowing them to get inside the large EDU box. Okay, moving on into the end of our Gone Boy Gone Breakout EDU experience. The students now have removed all the locks, so they should be able to open the large EDU box, and inside is just a little USB port, which seems kind of anticlimactic, but the importance of it is that in order to see the last clip to solve the mystery, the students need this. Obviously, before doing the breakout experience, the teacher needs to copy and paste the last URL from my YouTube playlist onto here. You know, they can copy and paste the address onto a Word document onto here, a PowerPoint frame, Keynote, whatever the case may be, but they need to get it on here because the students obviously will plug that into the computer, and when they open the one file on there, they're going to see that there's only going to be one URL code on there, and they're going to click the code to watch the last clip. But you should probably remind them, if they need reminding, that we all started on this page here, and it said the death of Brian Goodwin was caused by, and they had 4 bullets there to choose from: wild animal, Delilah, Ned Goodwin, or an accident. So as they watch this last clip, the students are listening to see if they can solve the puzzle of what happened. So it gets to this point, and there's a recording from Ned Goodwin, who was Brian's father, that he listens to, and you learn what happened to his son.
Keeping an eye on you. Not after bumping into you back in May. Down by the cave, for croc's sake. I've been up here for 3 years. I kept it cozy.
You know, I don't want to give it all away, but just so you know, that will allow the students to solve the mystery. And when you're done, if they did it in the time frame that you had set, I usually do like 45 minutes, they can print this off and they can fill in their answer to the mystery, and you can take a picture of it, post it, whatnot. But regardless, the kids just had a very unique and fun experience within your classroom, and using very high thinking skills like analytical, synthetic, and evaluation to do something different in the classroom to kind of bring the classroom to life. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this breakout edition of Gone Boy Gone, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.